So there's this cartoon, Rick and Morty. Maybe you've heard of it. And there's a bit in one of the episodes where the characters they're playing a video game, but it's a total sensory experience. Like it's 100% immersive. So you think you are the person you're playing. And then you live their entire life, your entire life. You fall in love, you have children, you battle with cancer, and eventually you die. And that's game over, and you log out of the game and somebody else gets to try. Sometimes, I think, that's the closest thing to a metaphor for an afterlife that I could engage with. The idea that when I die, I have some ethereal soul that leaves my body and floats off to a magical land of clouds or fire or some mythical nonsense. I can't get my head around that stuff. But the idea that at the end of my life, a strange creature will take a helmet off and say, "Whoa, that was weird as fuck. I don't know what the fuck that was." And this whole life will just be like a game for some higher dimensional being that we petty little creatures can't really conceive of. And like maybe everything, maybe all living things are all characters in the game. And the thing that's playing them, you could call that God. All of life is a virtual reality simulation being controlled by one being, and that's God. It's everything, all at once, all together. Hi, I'm Uncle, whatever you feel like calling me. I didn't come up with a name for this show, and really, what's the point of names? Aren't they just labels of sounds we apply so we can categorize separate entities? Who knows? I don't. So, yeah, I have a hard time believing in an afterlife where it's just me, the person I am now, as a ghost in like heaven or hell or some other shit. Even just like strict literal reincarnation doesn't mean much to me. I guess I don't think I have a soul. I mean, it depends on how you define your soul. I think a soul is defined by the choices that you make. Like when you choose to put somebody else's interests before your own, you are displaying your soul. And when you see a suffering or an injustice, you might feel a deep aching. And that too, it's the aching of your soul. But this idea that it's like a thing, like it's that booger monster from Ghostbusters, and like after you die, this booger monster is gonna burst out of your guts invisibly, and like run around, touching shit, and meeting other ghosts and having adventures. That shit just doesn't seem too likely to me. The idea that this is all just a trap, a trick, that we're being deceived by being here, that makes sense. In that regard, I can imagine that I'm the only thing that's real, and I'm trapped in a dream by some like evil wizard or some sort of psychic spider that's got me wrapped up in a false world, and the only way out is by killing myself, or like killing some famous person, or something stupid like that. You gotta prove you don't believe that the dream is real. That's the only way to escape the dream into reality. That's the kind of shit that leaves you with some movie where a dude kills himself, and then if the writer's a real hack, he wakes up from a fucking coma and is like, "Oh my god, what year is this?" Kids, let me tell you, I'd like there to be something to go beyond all this. I really would. I'd love to be a little booger monster haunting various apartments I used to live in, manifesting as a faint, farty smell of pot smoke in the corner of a room, or the lingering odor of burnt chicken and burnt pancakes in the kitchen, from 2 different incidents. It would be neat if all my experiences didn't end with me. Sometimes I feel like I'm a collection of photos that somebody will just throw away someday, and I'm keeping track of all these important things like paying my taxes and eating and staying out of jail and being nice, and someday I'll just be dead, and everybody I know will be dead, and I won't have any connection to any of it at all. I'll be gone, and the world will go on without me, and I won't go on without it. That doesn't seem very fair to me. I seem so important, so monumental. How could I not exist? I deserve to exist, don't I? I certainly think so. What with all my clever thoughts and funny jokes and little shows and shit. God, it's fucking pathetic. Imagine if I was an eternal being of cosmic significance, and this is how I was spending my time. Being this. Being me. Making this fucking show. For you. You wonderful kids who I just think are the best, and you're gonna go do real good things with this world. You're good little go-getters. You go get them. So yeah, what was I talking about? The game Roy. Is life a video game? Can we cheat? Isn't this just the plot of The Matrix, but with sort of an extra part that's kind of dumb? The answer to all those questions is, of course, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm doing my best, kids, but I'd appreciate a bit of rope here, a bit of slack, a bit of chance to get myself figured out. Are we all having a good time? Is your life one that's worth recording in the databanks of the universe? Should we save this one? Are you feeling fulfilled with your whole life? Can you ever silence the gnawing sensation clinging to the base of your brain that maybe this is all wrong? It's so weird. We're just born into a world with roads and walls and languages, and it existed for so long before us, or so they tell us, and for so long after us, or so we assume. And what's to be done with any of it? It's just here to go. It arrives one day, and it's gone the next. Well, anyways, kids, that's about the show for this time, for this episode. That's what I have to tell you about that thing. That's my thoughts on that scene from that cartoon I watched that one time. I like cartoons. I like flickering illustrations that tell a story about a reality that doesn't really exist. I like having the surrealist parts of my brain tickled. I think that's the appeal of some psychotropic substances. It gets you closer to that state of mind, that state of being. I'm not saying it's a good thing, or even a bad thing. It's just a thing that some people like. They like not being real all the time. They like to take command of the wheel. What was I saying? They like to take command of the ride and then prove that nobody has a hold of the wheel. That's what I'm trying to say. We're all just drifting down the road, and the road isn't even a road. We're just adrift, like boats out at sea. We're sinking towards a shore. Maybe we'll even make it. All right, I have to go now. I'm very tired, and these shows are extremely difficult to make. I hope you have a nice experience with your life. I've been Uncle. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you were here for the show, that you experienced this passage of time with me, and I got to have some of my experience shared with you. But now we're done. We're done having this. Are we done? Is it? All right. Goodbye, kids. Goodbye.
Okay, that's all she wrote.